Okay, we are live.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Isaac Heschel, and I proudly serve as the chairperson of an incredible group of individuals which comprise the Community Action Board. It is now 6:09 p.m. and we are officially beginning this meeting. I thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us and to participate in this meeting. I will now ask Susan Tenenbaum, our secretary, to be so kind and do the roll call.
Certainly. Good evening, Chairperson. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the roll. If you hear your name, please say here, yes, or present. From the Office of City Council Speaker, Adrian Adams, Lynette Shelbourne Barfield.
Here.
Thank you. From the Office of the Mayor, the Honorable Eric Adams. Is anyone representing the Honorable Eric Adams? From the Office of New York State Assembly Member Jeffrey and Aubrey, Louise Emanuel. From Boricua College, Moises Pereira, Ismael Sanchez. From Region 14, Brooklyn, Nda 11, 13, and 15, Victoria Camarota Curto.
Good evening, Susie. I'm present. Hello, everyone.
Good evening, Victoria. Good evening. From Region 16, Queens, Nda 1, 2, and 5, Claudia Koger. From Region 4, Bronx, Nda 7 and 8, Yesenia Cardona.
Good evening, everyone here.
Good evening, Yesenia. From Region 2, Bronx, Nda 3 and 4, Cynthia Cox. NAB Chairperson Representative, Manhattan and Staten Island, Ileana de la Rosa. From Doc Go, Second Vice Chairperson, Gregory Hambrick.
Good evening, Susie. I'm here.
Good evening, Greg. Thanks. From the Office of Bronx Borough President, Vanessa Gibson, Monica Major, or Angel Gao Jr. From Region 11, Brooklyn, Nda 7, 10, and 12, our chairperson, Isaac Heschel.
Thank you.
Good evening. From the Office of Manhattan Borough President, Mark Levine, Christopher Carroll. From Region 15, Brooklyn, Nda 14 and 17, Parliamentarian Rhonda Joseph. From Region 12, Brooklyn, Nda 3, 8, and 9, Wayne King. From Region 17, Queens 3, 4, and 7, Paul Mai.
President, good evening.
Good evening, thanks. From Morris Heights Health Center, Gideon Dunkley. From Neighborhood Housing Services of Staten Island, Joseph Pierre. From the Office of the Staten Island Borough President, Vito Fossella. Do we have a representative? From Region 6, Bronx, Nda 11 and 12, Vasumati Patel.
Present.
Good evening, Mrs. Patel.
Good evening.
From the Office of Brooklyn Borough President, Antonio Reynoso, Astrid Quas.
Present. Good evening.
Good evening. From the office of Queensborough, President Donovan Richards, Secretary Susie Tannenbaum, I am present, and my colleague Ludi Benor. Ludi, are you here? Okay. From Region 8, Manhattan 7, 9, and 12, Jackie Rowe Adams.
Here.
Good evening, Jackie. From St. Francis College, Tirani Street, or Leah Schmerl. From the Office of New York City Comptroller Brad Lander, Antierson Ortiz. From Region 9, Manhattan 10 and 11, Derek Tate.
Here.
Good evening, Derek.
Good evening.
From Region 13, Brooklyn, Nda 5 and 16, Christopher Toomer.
Here.
Good evening, Chris. Thank you. From UJ Federation of Jewish Philanthropies, third Vice Chairperson Ariel Savransky. But Ariel was present. Anita, can you unmute, please?
Yeah, I saw her before. I don't know if she dropped off.
And there is an alternate, Faith Beham. Or Beham. From United Neighborhood Houses, Nora Moran. Tara Klein. From United Parcel Service, Janet Dlugos.
Good evening, I'm present.
Good evening, Janet. As your alternate here as well, Brian?
No.
Clark, okay, thank you. From Region 19, Staten Island 1, first Vice Chairperson Linda Walters.
Present.
Good evening, Linda.
Good evening.
From Region 7, Bronx 9, Justin Westbrook Lowry. No. From the Office of New York City Public Advocate, Jumani Williams, Elizabeth Kennedy, or Veronica Aveas, or Michael Toomey. And from NAB Chairperson Representative Brooklyn, Patty Ann Williams. Okay, we have called the roll.
You done?
Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's still 15.
I would suggest, Anita, that we move things around and perhaps ask somebody who needs no introduction, Jeff, to give his presentation.
Okay.
And then later on circle back. As you all know, Jeff Cohn for many years was instrumental in assisting DYCD in accomplishing the incredible things that they did. He decided to join NYPD Community Affairs Bureau as a community ambassador. We're delighted to have him here today, and we appreciate him taking time of his busy schedule to join us. Now, ask Jeff to be so kind and give us his presentation.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody is well. It's good to see so many familiar faces, especially Mr. Hessel, Chair, Anita, and my former colleagues. Wanted to give a presentation and understanding what the Community Ambassador Program is for the NYPD. So a little background, the program itself was initiated through the City Council, and that was to engage communities regarding the NYPD through a civilian lens, and not just have police officers do community engagement. So the Community Ambassador Program was started in 2020, in the spring of 2020, and we delegate one individual per patrol borough. There are 8 patrol boroughs in the city of New York. So what exactly is a community ambassador? Well, who we are, we're members of the community. We come from the boroughs in which we are serving. We are here to close and alleviate the gaps between the NYPD and different communities, minority communities, immigrant communities within the 5 boroughs. And what we do is heavily involved in community engagement, from the grassroots level, meeting with community boards, going through precinct council meetings, and talking with our local elected officials about issues in the community and how NYPD can provide both, obviously, public safety, but services for various people to make sure that they get assistance that they need within their various communities. So we are, again, we're citizens of our community. We all live respectively within our patrol borough and the borough we work. We are, again, tasked with bridging the relationship between communities and the NYPD itself. And we work respectively for borough chiefs, and we work with the community affairs apparatus, both in the community affairs bureau, at the precinct level, and at the patrol borough level. So the outreach that we do, we have programs for various things. The NYPD identifies ways to effectively refer, whether it be youth or immigrant services, to community partners. We also do events, and we partner with other organizations and community groups. We are heavily investing our resources in immigrant outreach to communities that are new immigrants who may not have had positive experience with law enforcement in the respective country of origin. And we also are heavily and have been heavily involved in youth outreach. And the 3 types of youth that we are currently trying to engage are youth in need of assistance. That could be those who are living in homeless shelters, who are not getting the proper assistance they need in school, or they lack resources. 2 are youth on the borderline of crisis. These are those who may have be involved in gangs or have been in trouble with the criminal justice system. And we are actively and proactively working with those youth to keep them from furthering going down that line into incarceration or further legal trouble. And then there's a 3rd group that are often forgotten about, and they're the youth who are exceptional, who are doing well under any circumstances, but those who are especially in communities that have high crime or high levels of poverty, and have no negative experience with law enforcement. In many years past, we dedicate a lot of those resources to those who are in danger of being caught up in the criminal justice system. However, we haven't in the past paid any attention to those who are thriving in difficult situations. And we are focusing our efforts on trying to do as much outreach and building an apparatus to those youth who are doing well in school, who are in difficult situations in high crime neighborhoods, to ensure them that they can continue to do well and that they get resources as well. And on top of that, we engage their parents. Engaging the parents sometimes is often overlooked. And by engaging parents, sometimes we can change trajectories for children, but also get the resources for the parents, because they may be struggling as well. And that be maybe one of the issues that the youth are facing is parent involvement, or the lack of ability for parents to be fully engaged. And the last aspect, obviously, is our elderly. They're often forgotten. We've been talking about, and in this specific year, are doing a lot more outreach to the elderly community. Now that senior centers are starting to open back up, other end of the pandemic, we're doing outreach to seniors, crime prevention outreach to seniors, engaging seniors in immigrant communities to explain to them how they can report crimes and why it's important to report crimes, especially age-related crimes. So that is some of the things that we are doing. And the most important thing is we're working with our community partners to hear concerns and expand our footprint in each individual community. So I'd like to give you an example of outreach that I have personally done in the Asian community in Queens. from the business leaders in the Korean community in Murray Hill and part of subsection of Flushing about having a sit down with local elected officials to hear some of the concerns that they had with people who may have been harassing their store and quality of life issues that they were having on their storefronts. The interesting thing was the language barrier. Many of these store owners didn't reach out to the police or tried to reach out to a single person that could reach out to the precinct, which caused a backlog and it slowed things down and things were not getting reported. We encourage those leaders in the community, if they did not speak English, to simply email us in Korean. And the reason is we have Google Translate and we have translation systems, apps and programs for us to translate. So we didn't want there to be a delay. And we wanted to feel that people who did not speak English or were not English efficient would be able to have their concerns or their urgent needs be met in a timely manner. Now, obviously, we told them if it's an emergency, they must call 911 and they should not wait for a response from us. But these were quality of life issues that were chronic and that needed to be addressed. So those are some of the examples that we are doing. And we can go through many examples. I can personally go through many examples, but we are doing a lot of those type of initiatives within the community, building up through community organizations and businesses and local elected officials and community outreach groups. So one of the things that I'm looking forward to, and I started was with the neighborhood advisory boards, was to do collaboration. And we have tried to partner through our community ambassadors and neighborhood advisory board liaisons, people who are interested in becoming a part of our community apparatus, and vice versa, to hear the needs of what the neighborhood advisory boards are currently facing, but at the same time to get engagement on the community side so that we can expand our network. We want to rebuild strong community networks for every single precinct. And that takes a lot of buy-in on the community's end. It takes a lot of effort on our end, but it takes the engagement of multiple agencies and good faith measures to get to that result. So we address a lot of quality of life issues for our community co-partners, and all this information is brought back to our executive staff. This is how information is being administered and taken down and understood by the precinct level, by the patrol borough level, and overall by the NYPD for the ambassador program and Community Affairs Bureau. So my ask tonight, after this presentation, is if you are interested and you are a CAB member in being a partner and being a part of our community affairs, community ambassadors program, all it takes is your information, your interest, and whatever level you're comfortable in terms of giving time, whether it be an hour a month, 10 minutes a week, whatever it is, to just let us know what's going on in your community, and also events that are going on that we can attend, events that we're putting on for you to attend, and build a relationship to ensure that communities are seen, heard, and understood within the 5 boroughs. So I will conclude that verbal presentation, and I'm sure there'll be some questions, and I'd love to answer them.
Thank you, Jeff. Excellent presentation. I'm sure that the great work that you did at DYCD you will do as well for the NYPD, and we thank you in advance. Any questions for Jeff?
I have a question
Sure.
for Jeff. Have you started the collaboration already with NAB?
So we have had a few meetings where I know community ambassadors have attended. I've been invited to a few, unfortunately, conflict of schedule because our meetings usually with Bitterby community boards, precinct councils are at night. We can do ad hoc meetings if individual neighborhood advisory board members want to meet individually. Anytime we are available. But in terms of neighborhood advisory board meetings, we have asked that liaisons, when they schedule, send us the scheduled meetings so that we can try to attend. You're muted.
Sorry, thank you. The second follow-up question I have to that is, what's the best way to to meet with your office outside of a NAB meeting. So is it possible for NAB to have their meeting possibly at a precinct in their community, or set up a date where NAB members can meet with the precinct in their community
So
and have some form of collaboration? Is that possible?
Yes, absolutely. So your first question about meetings actually in the precinct, that is something that I would only be able to answer in terms of Patrol Borough North and Queens. I would leave it up to the ambassadors of each patrol borough to obviously be the ones to give you that answer. But if it was for Patrol Borough North, I don't see it being an issue to actually have NAB meetings in the precinct. And most commanding officers that I personally deal with have open door policies. So if the NAB wanted to meet with the community affairs people, they could. And if we could set up a meeting with the commanding officer of the precinct, I think it's something that is realistically that we can do.
Thank you.
I would like to ask a quick question, if I may.
Sure.
Wonderful presentation, Jeff.
Thank you.
You mentioned a particular community that you have been working with.
Right.
And I think, in the Asian American community in that part of Queens, there have been a number of bias attacks, bias incidents, and hate crimes. I'm just curious to know whether at these meetings, at these sit-down meetings, do people bring those types of issues up specifically? If they think they've been the victim of a bias incident or a hate crime?
It's a good question. So let me give you a little bit. I was actually set to do an anti-Asian hate crime event with seniors last Friday. Unfortunately, I had to cancel as I had COVID. But that's the type of things that we are actually doing. We have literature about how to get off the subway, how to do, what you do if you think you're being followed in Chinese. And we've had meetings with elected officials of Asian descent regarding issues in the Asian community, regarding anti-Asian hate crimes and how we can go forward and do outreach. So those are initiatives that we're doing. Those are initiatives that are being pushed by the Community Affairs Bureau, but also things that have been stressed by the borough chiefs as well. And again, collaboration with the borough president's office is always welcome. We're also doing outreach in the Latin community in Corona, Jackson Heights, and Elmhurst regarding newly arrived immigrants and the perception of law enforcement. We did a really wonderful event at PS 28 where we had Law Enforcement Day. A lot of these kids are newly arrived. They're either bilingual or they're ESL. And we had the mounted unit, the canine unit. We pulled a few cruisers into the playground, and the kids were crawling around the cars, and just to get those kids comfortable with law enforcement, because their parents already are grown-ups and they have the bias, but the kids don't. And when the kids see that and they're comfortable, that's how you build progress and understanding that the kids can say, well, the police are my friends. And ironically, the principal sent us a wonderful email letting us know that everybody wanted to be a next day. So I felt that was in itself cute, but that was progress right there.
Wonderful. Thanks.
Hi, Jeff. You only work out of Queens?
So I'm doing the presentation on behalf of the whole program. I am the ambassador for Patrol Borough North in Queens, but we do have ambassadors for each patrol borough. So if you're looking for a specific patrol borough, we can easily put you in touch with that community ambassador, and they would be able to work with you within the specific community of interest that you're looking to have community engagement with.
Okay, I would like that. I would like that very much. And the presentation was excellent. Thank you.
No problem. I think Victoria.
Yeah.
Victoria, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to show my camera, but I'm in a little closet. I'm kind of embarrassed, but I will share. I've got my. Okay.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, I have family here from another country. Anyway, let's go back to what you're doing. I'm excited because of the youth outreach and that you mentioned exceptional youth, those that are in high crime areas that aren't really, you know, that seem to be doing well, but the fact that you're putting some attention on those youth, I think it's I think that's very commendable. I like that part of it. And as far as ambassadors are concerned, how many are you looking for, and what kind of I mean, are you looking for people who aren't that involved in everything, that have time to do it? Are you looking for retired, maybe a senior, or does it matter? You know, give me an ideal target for this.
So we're talking about community partners. Community ambassadors is the actual person
Oh.
that community partners, as many people as we can get. Seniors, anywhere from kids in high school all the way to seniors. What we want to do is we want to build out a network of community-minded people who can engage the community when there are issues, whether they be quality of life issues for certain neighborhoods, whether it be gun violence for certain neighborhoods. We have to address the issues in those neighborhoods, whether it be noise complaints, that be the most serious issue, and we have to take that seriously. Also to, again, shootings and gun violence, because we have to take that as seriously as well. So when we talk about the broad scope of public safety, we're talking about pretty much everything that involves complaints from the community.
So the ambassador portion of it is limited to as many precincts, you said? How many is that?
So let me break it down for you. There are 8 patrol boroughs in the city of New York. That is the higher level command than the precinct. There's patrol borough north and south in Queens, north and south in Brooklyn, north and south in Manhattan. Bronx, ironically, is just 1 patrol borough, and the same with Staten Island. In Queens, I oversee 8 precincts. My colleague in Queens South oversees 8 precincts. I believe there's 12 precincts. I might be being misquoted on that in the Bronx, but it's around that number. So each patrol borough has a different number. Some of us, again, our program is unique, that it is a collaborative effort, but each patrol borough is different. So we have a unique perspective of how we approach the communities in our patrol borough. And we have different directives within the overall directive of community engagement. So, for example, in Bensonhurst, I can't speak for my colleague, but I will assume from my experience of NAB 11, quality of life issues, outreach to immigrant communities who may not be or underreporting crimes are very important to that community. And that's where we would want to engage on a level. And then again, there's other communities where there are serious issues of gun violence, and we would want to do gun buyback programs and youth programs for kids who are at risk. So those are some of the things that we are doing. And those are the differences within communities that we have to approach.
Okay, so as far as the community groups, I could think of and I don't want to make it too long, but we used to have community block watches that would be involved with the precinct. We had people on the block watching, the youth, if they would do something. I mean, is it something where you're trying to build all these circles again, these relationships? And that's
correct.
Important. But we also have to remember that we're living in a time when we've got drugs and marijuana rampant. I can't go out into my backyard without smelling it. You're driving and you're smelling it coming out of the cars. So we're impaired. We're impairing adults. We don't know who are these adults that are going to be helping. So you have to make sure they're not, they have to be vetted, I guess. So it's kind of a very complicated thing because our society's become so complex, and
Right.
many people are as adults needing help. And then, so if they're helping youth or helping the police, they hopefully will be able-bodied and not, involved in things themselves. That's
Right.
what I'm saying. That's
Okay.
the, concern for me is that how many people who are able to do this, and I don't know if you're paying them or they're just volunteering.
It's just volunteering a little bit of time and a little bit of effort to ensure that public safety is a little bit easier for the precinct and the officers by having engagement with the community. So if you can stop by a precinct council meeting, great. If there's something going on and, you haven't, if people on your block every quarter just want officers to stop by to talk for 15, 20 minutes, or if they can, a community ambassador can stop by and just talk about the issues on your block that are related to public safety or quality of life. That's what we're asking for. Not too much dedication of your time, but just to be a partner and work with us, in terms of community engagement and what's going on in your community. That way we know what's going on and we have an outlet to the community. If something happens, we know this person lives on this block and they always talk to us when they need something, and they whatever program for the school, that's how it starts. Build that relationship and we can go to if needed, and you can come to us when needed. So it's a two-way street.
I think what you're doing is wonderful. I just hope that it leads to some changes in laws and accountability, that people are being, that it's not a revolving door, because police officers can't do their job if you try to have them do all this paperwork and then these people leave. They've done all the paperwork, but they're let out. And my quality of life has gone down the drain since marijuana was legalized. I'm sorry, it's invading my air rights. I can't go down a street without smelling it and breathing it in. Unfortunately, I know the reasons pro, but can we do something where we can make some laws changing it, not in a public park, not when you're driving, so I don't feel afraid that the person ahead of me is going to injure himself or myself or me. So these are things that have very strong impact to quality of life. And these are laws that were put in place just recently.
So I just want to reiterate that when it comes to smoking, it's the same thing as cigarettes. I don't think you can smoke anything in a park.
Or in the car?
Or in the vehicle. You're not allowed to smoke in the vehicle.
You're not to smoke. You can't smoke
there's
marijuana and drive.
Way to for police officers, you've tied their hands, because there's no way they're going to go find somebody smoking in a car. But I could smell it. I could,
right.
From the cars, everybody feels, we all know this is true, but how do you then prevent it? It's sort of like you're kind of I think police officers have a very hard job right now.
All I can say is that I can take that, I can get that clarification regarding smoking and driving. Again, I'm not a police officer, so I don't know the specifics of how they deal with that. But if you want to follow up, I can find out what usually the ramification would be if police officers pull somebody over while in the act of smoking marijuana. So I could follow up for you on that, but that's what I could do for you right now.
Jeff, thank you so much. I don't want to take up too much time. It's just one thing that came to mind. I'm sure there's a lot of other people that want to speak. Have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Any other questions or comments for Jeff?
Hi, Jeff. I was just wondering if you can put your contact information in the chat again.
Sure.
Absolutely,
you. I can do that.
Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate what you do and what the rest of the ambassadors do. And hopefully it will help make the city better. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Anita, give me some good news.
Not so good. We have 18 right now. I just noticed another telephone number came up, but I don't recognize it. Is somebody who just came in? Can you just tell me?
Anita, this is Anderson Ortiz from the Comptroller's office.
Oh, hi, Anderson. How are you?
Anita, Joseph Pierre is also on the line.
I got you, Mr. Pierre. At your number, I recognized. Thank you for coming. So right now we have 19, Mr. Chair.
We don't have quorum.
We don't have quorum right now.
Okay, so I guess we'll recognize the election of Miss De La Rosa next time, or should we do it now?
No, well, she's not here today, so we can put it off till September.
Okay.
She'll
That's
start then.
fine. We can't vote on accepting of the minutes, so
No,
we need to put that off, nor can we vote on the
the calendar.
CAB calendar for the fiscal year 2023.
Yeah,
Artists can present the quarterly report, but we can't vote on it.
I don't think she's here. I don't see
Not
her.
here. Okay,
But
then
if you like, I can go over it. Let me just get it.
or if you want, we could circle back. I saw Commissioner Zhang was on before, maybe,
Commissioner Sang is here. He's going to give the commissioner's report because Mike had
Right.
to go to a different meeting.
right, so maybe Artist is gonna be coming back on, or she's not gonna be on today?
I didn't see her come on at all. So, but yeah, you can let Associate Commissioner Zhang give the report, and then I'll pull up the financial report and I'll just go over it briefly.
Okay. It gives me great pleasure to ask our Associate Commissioner to present the Commissioner's report. Commissioner Zhang?
Good evening. Thank you very much, Chairperson. So I'm here on behalf of Deputy Commissioner Mike Bobbitt to give the Commissioner's report. So I'll start with the good news. So the mayor has appointed a new commissioner for DYCD. His name is Keith Howard. So Commissioner Howard has met with DYCD's executive staff and some other DYCD staff today too. And he will officially start next week on Tuesday. He brings to DYCD operational management experience and a history of improving connections between CBOs and young adults. He has a breadth of experience focused on community-driven programs to advance safer, healthier environments for young people. As a former board member of Scan Harbor, one of the largest youth service providers in Harlem, East Harlem, and the South Bronx, Commissioner Howard provided oversight on organizational policy, budget, and program activities to after-school programs, early childhood education, family and social services, workforce development, youth education, and violence prevention. Commissioner Howard will attend our next CAP meeting on September 8th. Is that right, Anita?
Correct.
Yes, it's September 8th. Yes.
Okay. All right, great. So the next item we'll report on is the Nda Rfp. I'll give you an update. As you already know, the contracts have been awarded and the providers are gearing up to start on July 1. DYCD staff have planned and are conducting orientation sessions with all the new providers, so which will set the stage for contract development and program launch. I believe Anita yesterday has sent a list of awardees to all the NAB and CAB members.
Yes.
You know, here I just wanted to say a special thank you to all the CAB and NAB members who participated in the evaluation process. You know, it was not an easy process. It's a long one. People's schedule conflict. So, but our participating members were very cooperative. Stuck with us and completed that process. So again, a special thank you to all of us who participated. 2022 Community Needs Assessment. So as you all know, this year we're going to have an electronic survey and it has been launched. And it is on the DYCD website and social media platforms. Unlike the 2019 CNA that informed the request for proposals by surveying only in the neighborhood development areas, anyone who lives in New York City may complete this year's survey. So the data collected will let us know what has changed since 2019 and where agencies' focus should be so that we can continuously improve programming and quality of services and ensure that resources and support are distributed equitably and on target. DYCD will also share the data with other city agencies whenever we have an opportunity to share information, resources, and so on and so forth. The survey was also sent to the CAB and NAB members yesterday, along with the social media toolkit, which is provided to support and promote the use of social media as a tool to engage New Yorkers. And we're asking all of the members, all of you, to share the survey with your networks through email and social media. It takes about 10 minutes from our perspective, but it does make a great deal of difference. And also there will be paper surveys, which will be made available by the end of July. And the NAB members will be surveying the NDAs. A training will be held at that time. So please let us know if you would like to help in that effort also. Another important item is the public hearings. Those will be held in each NDA from July through September and will be promoted widely. So let's work together to raise awareness and promote these hearings and make them a great success. Yes, we're now 6 months into the new administration. So DYCD staff, is working, NABLU staff, I would say, is working very closely with DYCD's Intergovernmental Affairs Unit to have the mayoral appointees seated on the CAB and to schedule an information session for staff of elected officials who have seats on the NABs. So that's being worked on, and Anita and the staff, are working very hard with our intergovernmental office. And I just wanted to also let you all know, probably some of you already know. So last week, the NABLU unit said goodbye to Lisa Hayes, who has moved on to something else. So that's one. And the other is, Candice Julian has also moved on to join the mayor's office of criminal justice. So here we just want to wish both of them luck and success. Lastly, I just wanted to report on some of the great events DYCD recently had. Apart from the day-to-day program work, contract management and all that, we also host or co-host, different events in an effort to engage stakeholders, connect providers to resources. And you probably know, to advance health access in communities served by organizations funded by DYCD, a perennial community-based health fair initiative, Spring into Health, was launched in 2017. And this year, we held the 2022 annual Spring into Health campaign, and that was designed to promote health insurance and health care access at DYCD funded programs, and also to engage, encourage, empower, and expose community residents to an array of holistic services. DYCD funded programs at this year's campaign raised awareness by hosting over 50 in-person and 10 virtual events throughout the spring session. Also on May 24th, DYCD hosted our 2022 CBO MWB exchange, which brought together over 200 service providers and MWBE vendors. It offered a great opportunity for the vendors and providers to network and to learn about one another's needs and services. It was a great event. And then there is the, on June 2nd, we hosted a virtual event titled Affirming Fatherhood, Building Great Men Through Positive Parenting. It was a one-day event, a full-day event with, the morning sessions, for practitioners, stakeholders in the community, advocates, discuss policies, share the best practices, information, and resources. And then in the afternoon, we focused on fathers. There were motivational and practical workshops taught by and for fathers. Over 200 people signed on to attend. Our CSBG partners, NISCA, New York State Council on Children and Families, and New York State Department of State joined us at the event. It was a very well received event, and we congratulate DYCD staff who, worked, tirelessly on all these events. That's for the commissioner's report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. We appreciate your comments. I just would like to echo one thing you said. I remember when I was a member of the NAB and it was survey time, the incredible amount of work that the members of the NAB did and the proofreaders. It's intense work.
Yes.
It's not fun work. And I give all of them a tremendous amount of credit and thank them for what they did and collaborating with you at DYCD to produce the results that these organizations that so desperately need the funds to provide so much for the communities, they made it all happen. So thank you very much to everybody involved in that. Any questions for the commissioner? Commissioner, your report was so accurate and on target that there's no questions for you. So thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Anita, if you can be so kind and provide the financial program quarterly report, it would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, let me just share the report. Okay. Can everybody see it? Oh no.
We saw it briefly.
For a second it disappeared. Let me do it again. No, that's not this. How about now?
Yes, I can see it.
Great. All right, so we're getting very close to the end of the year. So just a couple more weeks. So we're doing pretty well in terms of the budget, which is just about for programs, 31 million, almost $800,000. So our expenses are at 69%, and the payments that are being made to the providers is up to 59%. It does still look like it's very low, and that was because there were a lot of modifications and also extensions and adjustments, all kinds of financial things that have to go through the controller's office. And we had a backlog of those, but the new administration has insisted that all of those be pushed through and awarded. So this may change a lot by the time you see it again in September. We'll have the end of the year, and you'll see it all at 100%. The other than contractual services, the technical assistance is trainings for the CBOs and help with dealing with board members and staffing and also financial assistance. And so you'll see that is at 41% and, well, not 47%, excuse me. And that's still ongoing. Those technical assistance help is still ongoing. The fiscal field reviews, that happens when they go out to the programs to see how they're doing and what they're doing and look at the books. And then there's the fiscal agent services when they bring in actually auditors to come and help them or to help them with their books. Marketing and public awareness is practically spent. And all of the other contractual services there, you'll see there's an insurance program. There's the stipends that are for board members have not been spent because that's for the NAB members and also the CAB members in the low income sector. Since we're not having live meetings, that money has not been spent. Once we start having live meetings again, which we probably will have this summer with the surveying, then we will be able to spend down that money. So that's that. And then personnel services, that's our staff. That one you can see that it's already at 81%. That's because there's 2 weeks left in the fiscal year. Usually when you'll see it in September, you'll see it probably at 0 because it's taken quarterly out of the budget. And then this is the comparison at the bottom of what they told you last time Artis was here in when did we meet? In April. It was the last CAB meeting. So that's pretty much, I can't go into details because I don't have all of those details, but we're moving right along and we're right on target. So it'll look quite different the next time in September when Artis comes to present to you. Any questions that I might be able to answer? No.
Nita, thank you so much for that report.
Okay.
I noticed on the chat that Tamika has to leave in a couple of minutes. So once again, if you don't mind, that we'll move things around.
Yes.
And if you can be so kind and do the presentation.
Sure.
For the celebration of the former CAB
Let's
and
do
NAB
that.
members.
Yes, let's do that. David, can you help me? Can you put up the
Putting it up
presentation?
right now.
Okay. And we're so happy that Tamika is here. Unfortunately, our other members that are being presented today are not here. So we have a little bit of animation, and this is a legacy of Lisa, who did it last year and put this together for the many members who reached the end of their term last year. Next slide, David. So Flo Canada, she is a NAB member from Bronx 4, a former NAB member, I should say, from Bronx 4. She was the chairperson, the vice chairperson, and a member of Neighborhood Advisory 4. And what she did most wonderfully was she read the proposals for NDA Bronx 4. Well, long and hard work that was, but she did a great job. And we salute her, and we will send this to her. There's a facsimile of the certificate, and you'll see on the side that it says the certificate in great appreciation of the many years you have graciously given to community action through your work as chairperson, vice chairperson, and member of Neighborhood Advisory Board. Next slide, David. And this was Christian Escobar Rodriguez, member of the CAB for many years. This certificate in great appreciation of the many years you have graciously given to the Community Action Program through your work as a member of the New York City Community Action Board, Region 10, Brooklyn NDA 1, 2, and 4, and chairperson of Neighborhood Advisory Board, Brooklyn 1. So she was both a CAB member and a NAB member. Christian, we salute you. Next slide, David. And here is Tamika Robinson, who is here with us today. So happy to see you, Tamika. Tamika's been on the board, Neighborhood Advisory Board, Bronx 1 for many years. And then she was also second vice chair. So in great appreciation, Tamika, your work as second vice chair of the Community Action Board, representing Region 1, Bronx NDA 1 and 2, and a member of Neighborhood Advisory Board, Bronx 1, and always, always, always working for her community. Would you like to say a few words?
I just want to say thank you. It's been a wonderful opportunity being both a part of NAB and CAB, meeting so many of the members and having the support of everyone. I think our team is excellent, and I plan to actually continue community service work. It was good to hear from NYPD Community Ambassador Jeff.
Yes.
That was something that was exciting because I really did want to pursue some community service with the NYPD department. So I plan to continue my community service in that capacity. But for the most, I definitely want to say the whole entire CAB team, Anita, giving you a lot of love. So many people. I don't even want to name one person because Herschel, everyone, all of you guys, Linda, everyone. I mean, it's just been a wonderful experience, and I just want to say thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Tamika, for your service.
The pleasure was all mine.
It's all ours, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, David, next slide. This is just a thank you from DYCD to all of those who have worked to help New York help make New York a better place for all. Next slide, David. These are our special honors. People who have passed away within the last year. They're members of the CAB and the NAB. And there's a little quote that I found. What happens when we die? Keanu Reeves said, "The people who love you will miss you, and they are missed, and they are loved." Next slide, David. And I'm hoping I don't start crying as I read these. David Alexander. Now, who could forget David Alexander? No one. This certificate is in great appreciation of the many years graciously given to Community Action Program through his work on the New York City Community Action Board as chairperson, representative of Brooklyn, Region 13, Brooklyn NDA 5 and 16. Chairperson of, he was the chairperson representative of Brooklyn. I read that wrong also. Chairperson of Neighborhood Advisory Board, Brooklyn 16, and who could always be relied upon to have a few targeted questions at every single cabinet. And we say, as we say in Spanish, David presente. He's always with us.
Yes, yes.
Would anybody like to make any comments before I move on?
Hey, it's Greg Hamrick, real quick.
Sure, Greg.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat, and you know, your words are true. David, in my opinion, was an epitome of an active community servant. In my time chairing the board, there was not one meeting where he didn't have any input or any question or anything. And he called me quite often to follow up on a lot of what the discussions were at the CAD meeting. So just a great person, just a great servant. He'll definitely be missed. But when I think of, you know, kind of the framework and poster child, for lack of a better phrase, of an active community service, definitely he comes to mind.
He was a great leader and a great servant. And that's what I'm going to say about him. He knew how to lead, and he led with love, but he also knew how to serve, and he served with love.
Yes, he did.
This is Chris Tuma. Definitely David, he inspired me to really get more involved, and he was very instrumental in my participation, not just here at CA, not just the NDA, but just in the community in general, and brought me really to focus on the community action board. So really, he will be there.
His legacy lives on. Mr. Toomer, I'm not in touch with his family, but you're still on the community board, right? Are you still part of the community board, Chris?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can I send you the certificate and you can bring it to the community board? I mean, he was very active there.
Yeah, sure. And I also know his niece.
Oh, okay. Or you can give it to his niece.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't have their information, but so I'll just mail it to you.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'll make
All
sure.
right.
I'll make sure.
Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Anita?
Yes, Susie.
Yeah, I'm the one who's gonna cry.
You're gonna cry? Oh my God. This is gonna make me cry too.
I just wanted to say that I can't remember a meeting that I came to at the CAB where David Alexander didn't make a motion on, you know, at least 2, 3, 4 times.
Sure.
And so his name was so much a part of our meetings. And
Yes.
and I mean, he was so much of a part of our meetings, but his name was so present. And I had the pleasure of getting to know him for, you know, several years, but I had wished we were just getting to know each other, and I was really looking forward to learning more from him as a truly exceptional community organizer. And I miss him.
Yes, miss. But he's with us. That's what you say.
Yes, yes.
That's why we say David presente. Okay, next slide, David Aguilar. Monty Castaneda. Oh, Monty. Monty, again, her work on the Community Action Board. I don't know if many of you remember her as representative of Region 17, which was Queens 3, 4, and 7. She was chairperson of her neighborhood advisory board, Queens 4, and she was always present at the CAB meetings and always on time to the CAB meetings, even when commuting from her work when she was working in Connecticut. She made it a point to be here. She was involved in education. She was just a great person. So we say Monte Presente. Next slide, Dave. And this one, I'm sorry that Christian couldn't be with us, but this one is for Andres Figueroa. Through his 2 terms in office as chairperson and member of Neighborhood Advisory Board, Brooklyn 1, he helped in securing meeting space for the NAB and especially for our public hearings in Woodhull Hospital. And he participated on Community Action Board when he accompanied his wife, Christian, to the meetings when she was on the board. I remember him discussing when we discussed the community needs assessment and other issues, and he would always have a few things to say. Andres presente. Okay, and this is the end of our presentation. It's a very emotional one today.
Nda, thank you so much for this beautiful presentation.
You're welcome.
It goes without saying that David, Monty, and Andres, they served with incredible devotion and dedication.
Yes.
And besides that, they're sorely missed. They're role models for all of us. And we're obligated to follow in their footsteps and to continue the incredible work that they have done. And we wish them eternal rest and their families the very best. And to the incredible former members who are thankfully still with us.
Oh, yes, very much.
We salute you and we thank you for the incredible work that you've done and that you will continue to do, helping your communities in so many different ways. Moving along, we'll circle back now to a couple of the different reports. The executive committee met on May 26th. The executive meeting started at 6:16. We discussed the agenda for the CAB meeting. We discussed the calendar for fiscal year 2023, and we reviewed the committee activities, which we will review now by each one of the chair people. We concluded the meeting at 6:50, and that's basically a brief synopsis of it. I will now ask our first vice chair, Linda Walters, to be so kind and present the governance committee report.
Yes, just one. Oh, gosh. Okay, sorry. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The committee met on Wednesday, May 25th, and the minutes are in the board package. In attendance were the CAB members and 5 DYCD staff. The meeting was called to end at 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into the agenda. CAB vacancies, public sector, we have 5 mayoral appointees, Office of the Mayor, Office of Staten Island Borough President. Low income sector, there are 6 vacancies and all are in the process of a candidate search. New business, honors at the June 16 CAB in full meeting. You will learn more about that in the presentation section of the meeting. A discussion was had about outreach to organizations not receiving funding from DYCD to inform them about becoming SYEP work sites. Both representatives of the council speaker and Queensborough president were connected with DYCD's Director of Employer Engagement and Partnership. The meeting ended at 6:22 p.m. Is there anything I missed, Anita? Anita?
No, Linda, he did great. I'm sorry for the typo.
That's okay. You have 1,000 things to do. Yes, that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
Linda, thank you very much for your report.
You're welcome.
We appreciate the outstanding work you do for this board.
Thank you.
I'll ask Greg Hamburg, our second vice chair, to be so kind and present his report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. The program committee held their meeting on May 18th. The meeting started at 6:05 p.m. And the meeting was basically the Roma training, which I know some members on this call attended, and there was also some NAB members that attended. So the training was facilitated by Cortez Stallings. I unfortunately was unable to make that training. I always enjoy going to the Roma training, but I heard it was a very successful and interactive training. We all know that Roma is the framework for agencies to receive CSVG funding for a lot of the programs that we hear about on these meetings. So I overall was a great training, very interactive, and allowed members to ask questions and learn more about that process. The meeting commenced at 8:15 p.m. And that is it, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Greg. Greatly appreciated. I will now ask our third vice chair, Ariel Savransky, to be gracious enough and to present the Strategic Partnership Committee report. Ariel?
Hi, everyone. So we met on Thursday, May 19th. We talked a lot about the NAB membership and recruitment strategy. We know that there are about 286 seats that are full. We have 220 vacancies, of which 59 seats are DYCD direct appointment and 171 are elected official appointments. We talked a lot with the council speakers representative, who I'm not sure if she's still here, but we're trying to coordinate with them to organize an informational session after the budget process is over, which the budget was actually released very early this year. So hopefully we'll be able to start working together to organize a session for the new council members so that they understand their role in recommending members to the NABs and just understand what the CSVG program does in general. So we're really excited for that partnership, and hopefully that will help fill a lot of the slots. We talked about the new Nda Awards a bit, and I know Anita shared the list of all the agencies that were awarded that funding. So you should all have that. And then we talked about SYP, and I know Linda brought that up a bit earlier. So that program is going to be starting in the next few weeks. And it seems like it's going to serve a lot more students this year. So that's really exciting. And that concludes the report.
Ariel, thank you very much. We appreciate your report and the great work you do. Old business, quorum reminder. It is crucial and vital for the members of the CAB to attend these meetings. It's the only way for us to properly conduct the business that we need to do. I hope that on September 8th, we will achieve a quorum. So let's do our best. Also, Anita, if you want to speak a little bit about the conflict of interest certification.
Okay, the Department of State requires us to get a form that says our members have no conflict of interest on the CAB while they serve on the CAB. So some of you have already filled one out for this year, but there are others that haven't. So I'm going to be contacting you over the summer and asking you. It's a very easy form. You just read the form and just sign it, and then we put it in your file. So when you get it, just please sign it and return it so that we can have your files whole. We are audited by the state every quarter. Next year, we're going to have what's called the triennial accountability audit, which is a very intense audit, and we need to have all the paperwork in place. So I'm just asking, please, when we send it to you, just sign it. You can scan it and send it back to us, or you can mail it to us, whichever way is easiest for you. Thank you.
Will do, Anita, will do.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Pierre.
Thank you. New business. I know that an email went out with the links for the 2022 Community Needs Assessment Survey. So it would be greatly appreciated if everyone forwards it to the people they know in order to get as many people involved and get the most diverse and accurate assessment of what's needed. If Anita, you feel something to add on that.
And if anybody has any questions about it, please contact us and we'll be happy to help you. This year, it's anybody who lives within New York City. So that could be anybody you know. And we wanted to have it disseminated very widely. So if you have social media networks, if you know of people with newsletters, ask them to put it in whichever way you can. The more that we get, the more we know. You know, we'll have it. We'll know what's needed in New York City and what's needed in each of the communities. So thank you.
Thank you. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the members and the DYCD staff who did join us today. Thank you. I want to wish each and every one of you a happy, healthy, and safe summer. Enjoy it, make the best of it, and we look forward to seeing you all on September 8th. It is now 7:27, and unless there's any other questions or comments, we are going to adjourn. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patel.
Okay, so everyone have a great summer. God bless, and we'll see you on Thursday, September 8th. Good luck.
Thank you.